Okay guys, I do apologise, I just lost internet connection, so if I've missed much of the race, I do apologise. So in first place at the moment, while we were sorting out the internet connection issues, Silver Carter from when I last checked, he was 6th place. He's obviously worked his way up to first place. Then you got Jack Evans there in 2nd place at the moment. Then you got Dylan in the Porsche, just come out in pits I believe, and then Scott Fenton, and then you got Terence, and of course Jason Grant to 22 and 23. McLarens are 5th and 6th. Love Frequency is in pit lane I believe, or he's just come out of pit lane. So Ben Smith in 8th place in the Ferrari, and then you've got I believe you've got Rodo in 9th, and then Andy White in 10th place, followed by Diddy and followed by Doug Idle. So like I say, I do apologise, the internet decided to disconnect, so I missed half of the race, so I do apologise if you were watching the stream. So Chris Cleaver currently in pit lane. Jack is also followed suit, but now Dylan will retake the lead, followed by Scott Fenton in the Audi R8. So the McLaren and of course the Mercedes are going to be dropping down the order. You'll have Terence potentially could make his way up into 3rd place as he was doing, but we've got 22 minutes remaining before the checkered flag drops. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, it is going to be exciting, and it will be one of them. So we'll see what happens. I believe Scott Fenton now is in his 2nd place, but he's actually now gaining onto the back of Dylan. The tyre temperatures will be sort of into the optimum driving range for these guys now, but as I say, Scott Fenton trying to chase down Dylan's on the 2 green machines. Yes, that's right, the green machines of the Porsche and the Audi R8. So Dylan and of course Scott Fenton are now battling. Silver Carter still remains in 3rd place after his pit stop. Well, he actually isn't, he's actually 4th. He was 3rd, but Terence is back up into 3rd place. You've got Silver Carter in 4th place, but at the moment we'll try and focus on the battle between Scott Fenton and of course Dylan. Scott Fenton wants to try and make it 2 wins from 2 from obviously last week's first round win at Suzuka. But this is going to be fantastic if Scott Fenton can make a move on Dylan. We'll try and focus on this battle, and then we'll have a look if there's any other battles galore going on at the back of the field. So you have got 20 and a half minutes remaining in this race. So yes, it's going to be exciting. Scott Fenton tries to make a move into turn 1, but Dylan is now trying to eke out that gap. He's trying to make the gap even bigger. We'll see if Scott can make the move, but he's getting closer again. He's getting really closer. We have got obviously quite some time to go. We've still got 20 minutes of racing, so anything can happen in these 20 minutes. You've got Ben Smith in 6th place at the moment. You've got JWE, you've got Rodo, and of course Love Frequency. But we'll go back to the battle between Scott Fenton and of course Dylan at the moment. So Dylan Curtin and of course Scott Fenton. So you've got the Irishman facing Dylan at the moment. But what is Scott going to do here? So we have 19 and a half minutes of racing. The track at the moment is fast, and it's actually quite still fantastic to see what goes on. But you've got this battle between obviously Dylan and Scott Fenton here at the Hungaroring in Hungary, just outside of Budapest. So it's going to be really interesting to see. You've got Silver Carter still splitting the 22 and the 23 McLaren, and then Ben Smith in the Ferrari. And I believe this is going to be the only battle at the moment. We'll see what's going on elsewhere out on track in a moment or two. But as I say, I do apologise for any technical difficulties that have occurred this evening. It is a bit unfortunate, but you've got Dylan chasing down, of course, Scott Fenton. So we've got some massive races here, but it's going to be fantastic. We'll see what happens. I believe Terence still third place at the moment, but Scott Fenton's trying to still chase down Dylan. I believe this is the only major battle. We'll just quickly go through and then we'll get back to this battle. So you've got Silver Carter split into two McLarens. You've got Ben Smith in the Ferrari, you've got JWE, you've got Rodo, you've got Love Frequency, you've got Biggin, and then you've got Diddy, and of course Doug Idle Racing. But then, yes, it's just, this is the only battle we've got at the moment, so I'll try and give everyone as much airtime as I can. But at the moment you've got Scott Fenton chasing down Dylan, so you've got the green Porsche versus the Audi R8 with 17 and coming up to 17 and a half minutes of racing remaining, so anything can happen with this race. But you know, this is the only battle at the moment I see happening. But Dylan's going to be thinking, what's Scott going to do? Is Scott going to make a lunge, or am I going to have to defend like mad? But we'll see what happens during the races. But it's a bit unfortunate that we missed half the race due to issues first time round. But then obviously when the internet disconnected, we missed quite a bit. But we've got just under 17 minutes to go until checkered flag drops. But Dylan still trying to hold off the Irishman for first place at the moment. But this is going to be spectacular stuff between obviously Dylan and Scott. Scott's getting closer and closer still though, as we see that 16 and a half minutes remaining. I believe Scott's still trying to chase him, so it's going to be spectacular. I believe, as I say, this is probably the only battle we've got at the moment. But as I say, we'll try and give everyone a bit of airtime when we can. But you've got Biggin in the Aston Martin, potentially is going to be lapped very shortly. So it's going to be spectacular with 16 minutes to go. I believe Dylan's thinking, what have I got to do to escape from Scott Fenton? It's going to be amazing. But we'll just quickly have a look. You've got Terence and then Silver Carter, but Silver Carter's a bit further back to Terence, and you've got Jason Grant. Got Ben Smith chasing him down, but at the moment Ben's a bit far back there. You've got Jack, you've got Rodo, and you've got Love Mecca, and you've got Biggin, and then you've got Diddy, and then you've got Doug Idle Racing. Bit of damage from Doug there. But you've still got this battle between Dylan and of course Scott Fenton brewing. So the 20 Porsche versus the number 8 Audi R8. So you'll see what happens with 15 minutes to go. So temperature is potentially dropped down to 38 degrees, but as I say, we've got 14 minutes 45 seconds on the clock, so we'll see what happens. I believe the fastest lap at the moment, we'll just check the fastest lap. I believe we can't really check that at the moment, so we've got Dylan trying to eke out that gap from Scott Fenton at the moment. You've got obviously Terence in third, then you've got Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver in fourth, then you've got Jason Grant fifth, then you've got Ben Smith sixth, Jack in seventh, then you've got Rodo in eighth place, then you've got Love Mech in ninth, then you've got Andy White in 10th, and of course Dan and of course Doug in 11th and 12th. Dylan's about to come and put a lap on Andy White here, even though Andy is in 10th, but you know, it is going to be spectacular stuff. I can't believe what I'm seeing at the moment. This is probably the only battle we've got between Scott and of course Dylan, but you know, we've got coming up to 13.5 minutes remaining in the race. So as I say, I do apologise for any technical difficulty this evening. You know, it is looking likely that we've got the Irishman trying to chase down Dylan at the moment. So you've got the Porsche versus the Audi R8 for first place at the moment, but you still got Terence Doug Idle there having a bit of a nightmare evening in that Mercedes. You got Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver coming up to lap Doug at the moment, but then you've got Jason Grant kind of trying to escape from Ben Smith, which he has done. And you've got Jack and Rodo. Rodo is now going to have Love Frequency chasing him down, and then you've got Andy White in the Aston Martin with these guys coming up behind. So Doug Idle is in pit lane at the moment. You've got Andy White that's hopped the chicane. We have 12.5 minutes to go. It is going to be spectacular stuff, and it is going to be really interesting towards the end of the race. You've got Scott Fenton 1.8 seconds behind now, so it will be potentially, as I say, a bit might be close for comfort. Dylan's going to try and get past Andy White to put a lap on him, which he does, which gives him a bit more of a gap from Scott Fenton. He drops it into the penultimate turn there, which isn't going to do his tyres any favours, but we will have and go through the battle, because now that Dylan has now escaped from Scott Fenton for the time being. Scott Fenton may get held up by Andy White in that Aston Martin, but we'll see what goes on. I believe Terence is away from Silver Carter at the moment. You know, you've got he's obviously trying to Silver Carter is trying to obviously chase down Terence at the moment, but then you've got Jason Grant in the 23 potentially getting chased down by Ben Smith, but Ben Smith's about a couple of seconds behind. Then you've got Jack in the other McLaren, followed by Love Frequency in the Lexus. Then you've got, I believe you've got Rodo trying to chase him down. So I believe Love Frequency has actually got past Rodo for 8th place there. Then you got Andy White in the Aston Martin, still in 10th place at the moment. You've got Dan and of course Doug Idle in the McLaren and obviously Mercedes. But at the moment we'll go back to this battle between Scott Fenton and of course Dylan. But there is a car in between with Andy White in 10th place with 10 minutes 25 seconds on the clock before we hit the checkered flag for this evening. So you have got, I believe, Love Frequency still trying to hold off Rodo for 8th place at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. You have got obviously Dylan and Scott Fenton, but I believe Scott Fenton has now got past Andy White for potentially putting a lap on him. But Dylan is eking that lap. He's eking that first place. You know, Scott Fenton may chase him down if he does, but at the moment we've got 9 minutes 39 seconds on the clock, so you know it's going to be interesting towards the end of this race. So Scott Fenton in the Audi R8, you can hear that beautiful Audi R8 engine chasing down this beautiful Porsche engine. I'll tell you what guys, this Assetto Corsa Competizione League that Eldar Racing do, it's absolutely spectacular. You've got Scott Fenton trying to chase him down, still trying to chase Dylan down, but you know it's going to be, it could be one or the other. But you know we've just got 9 minutes remaining in this race. You've got Dylan eking out that gap from Scott Fenton at the moment. You just see the bright green bright green Audi R8 trying to come into shot. You know, he's going to be chasing him down, but we'll see what happens. But he's got this now battle between Terence and Silver Carter. Silver Carter, Chris Cleaver, has got up to Terence, you know, with 8.5 minutes remaining. But this is going to be fantastic. This could be a battle for potentially the last spot on the podium. If you remember rightly, at Suzuka last week, you know, Chris Cleaver went off after contact with obviously Scott Fenton, and I believe Chris Cleaver was not happy with what had happened there. But obviously, you know, he's trying to chase down Terence for third place. At the moment, you got Jason Grant in the 23 McLaren, and you've got Ben Smith, and of course JWE, and then you got Low Frequency still holding off Rodo in the Nissan GTR. Andy White in the Aston Martin still 7th place at the moment. Then you've got Dan and of course Doug Idle Racing. But the most battle I'm looking forward to seeing now is this battle between Terence and of course Chris Cleaver. So at the moment Chris Cleaver's getting closer and closer to the back of that number 22 McLaren with 7.5 minutes remaining. So this is going to be spectacular. This can be interesting. The Silver Carter thinks about trying to make a move into turn number 1. Is he going to make the move, or is Terence going to close the door? Let's see. Silver Carter tries to go on the outside, cuts back in. You've got Terence there running a bit wide, but Silver Carter gets him. But Terence is also fighting back. This could end up in tears. We'll see what happens. You've got Silver Carter and Terence going neck and neck. You've got them side by side going into the corner. Silver Carter thinks about overtaking him, but Silver Carter's got a next overtaking point here at the chicane. It's gonna go one way, it's gonna go another. Terence goes straight there. Silver Carter's lost a bit of ground after going offline, but he's still there. With 6.5 minutes remaining in this race, it is going to be fantastic to see, and I cannot believe what I'm seeing. But at the moment, you've got Silver Carter still pushing on for Terence, but Scott Fenton here, you know, he's not got anywhere near Dylan now. That gap's grown, but you've got this gap between obviously Silver Carter and Terence with 6 minutes remaining. This is going to be close. This could be no close, no cigar, but we'll see what happens. Obviously it's going to be really interesting. You know, Scott Fenton at the moment is struggling to catch up to Dylan now in that Porsche. But Silver Carter coming back to this battle between Silver Carter and of course Terence. The 87 Mercedes versus the 22 McLaren with 5.5 minutes remaining in this race. I can't believe what we are seeing, but this is going to be spectacular. You've got Jason Grant and of course Ben Smith in 5th and 6th. Then you've got Jack and of course Low Frequency in 7th, 8th. And you've got Rodo and Andy White in 9th and 10th. Then you've got Diddy and of course Doug Idle Racing in 11th and 12th. But this battle at the moment between Silver Carter and of course Terence, this is going to be spectacular with 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go, guys. But let's see what happens. You've got Chris Cleaver there still trying to chase down Terence here. He knows where to put the car, but we'll see what happens. But at the moment, Scott Fenton, we'll see what happens to Scott Fenton. But Silver Carter tries to make a move into the chicane, but he hasn't made it stick. Terence is still there, but these guys are going to try and make it as possible. And obviously these two probably treat each other like with respect, but you know, it's going to be interesting. We'll try and go to this battle. I'm not too sure whether Scott Fenton's got any closer to, of course, Dylan there, but we've got 4 minutes 10 seconds remaining on the clock. We'll just cut back to see if he's got anywhere, but no, he hasn't. But you've got Terence and of course Silver Carter still battling, so Chris Cleaver trying to get onto the back of Terence at the moment. This is going to be spectacular stuff. can't believe what I am seeing. But I believe Terence is going to eke out that gap with 3 minutes 40 on the clock. But you know, Silver Carter is slowly but surely going to get onto the back of this McLaren by the time the race finishes. We've got 3.5 minutes to go, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, oh my goodness, Silver Carter is still there, trying to chase down Terence for 3rd place, the final spot on the podium. This is going to be spectacular stuff. I can't believe what I am seeing, as per usual, but you know, this is going to be fantastic. And I tell you this now, what we're going to do. But Silver Carter's lost a bit of ground there, he's run a bit wide. But I believe Ben Smith still trying. But there's also another battle. I've got to be careful here. We've got a battle between Jason Grant and of course Ben Smith. Ben Smith at the moment, there's a car in the way, Dan's in the way there. Dan's going to have to get away, but you've got this Ben Smith, you know, against Jason Grant here, going into the chicane. Ben Smith makes the move. What an absolute fantastic move. Takes Jason Grant on the inside. We've got 2 minutes 22 seconds on the clock before the race actually ends. You know, this race has been fantastic, but you've got Silver Carter still trying to chase down Terence for 3rd place. Ben Smith now into 5th place at the moment. But this is going to be fantastic. You've still got Jason Grant behind him, trying to make a move on Ben Smith. Both of them make a bit of contact there, but that's a bit unfortunate there. But hopefully it's not damaged either car. But we can see Silver Carter trying to make a move, still trying to make a move on Terence there. We'll try and go back to this battle. You've got JWE and Love Frequency, then you've got Rodo. Scott Fenton is still got a bit of issues trying to get up to Dylan, but at the moment with 1 minute 20 to go in this race, you've got Silver Carter and of course Terence still trying to battle it out, and Ben Smith and of course Bluefin at the moment. But you've got a minute of 5 seconds. This is going to be spectacular.
Alright man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
So you've got Silver Carter still trying to chase down, but a drive-through penalty for track limits for none other than Jason Grant there. He's got a drive-through penalty which has cost him time now from Ben Smith, but as it, he's going to have to take the drive-through penalty, even though he's got 30 seconds remaining. He's not on the final lap as of yet, but this will be interesting. This will be interesting. You've got Dylan out in the lead of the race on the final lap of the race. You've got Terence and Silver Carter still battling away. You've got Ben Smith here in the Ferrari, and you know, they're on the final lap of the race at the moment. This is going to be really interesting. It's Jason Grant at the moment. If anything happens or if anything changes, you know, this is going to be spectacular stuff. I'll see if we can get I'll try and get a screenshot if I can of the race results. I'll try and see if this is the final result as well. But we'll see what's going on in the final lap of the race. This is going to be really interesting. You've got Dylan about to come round the final turn. I believe Scott Fenton isn't going to be anywhere near him, but you've got Dylan coming around the final turn to take the checkered flag, as he does spectacularly. Takes.
The leader has finished the race.
So congratulations to Dylan, followed by Scott Fenton coming home, and I believe Terence will come home in 3rd place, or will that change? But we will see. you've got Terence still under threat from none other than Chris Cleaver, but this will be interesting to see what happens. You've got potentially still got this battle on the final lap between Terence and of course Silver Carter, but there will be probably joy for Terence as he comes to finish third place in the race, followed by Silver Carter, and Ben Smith will be going home to finish fifth place at the moment, but we'll see what goes on. It is going to be Ben Smith in fifth place. You know, this is spectacular stuff. You've got I believe Ben Smith going to come home in fifth place, and then you've got Love Frequency in sixth place. So Love Mecca will be happy with his sixth place result. And then you'll have Jason Grant. Unfortunately, his drive-through penalty cost him a bit of time, but there's still a bit of a battle between him and Jack there on the last lap. But Jack's already actually finished, so Jason, it's only finishing 7th. And then you've got, I believe, Love Mecca now will come home in 6th place, and then Jason Grant comes home in 7th place. So that is the race, and that is exactly how the race exactly finished. So we will get the screenshot of the race for you guys, and that is the final. We'll confirm the race results if we can. So you got Dylan in first place, followed by Scott Fenton, and of course Terence, and then you've also got Silver Carter and Ben Smith, and of course Love Frequency, and then Jason Grant, and obviously Jason Grant. Then you've got Jack. Then you've got then I believe it was Rodo and Diddy, and of course Doug Idle rounding up the field. So without further ado, guys, thank you for this evening. I do apologise for any inconvenience and any issues regarding technical difficulties, but hopefully we should see but yeah, as I say, I do apologise for any issues regarding any technical difficulties, but thank you so much for sticking with me. I'll see you guys next week. I'm not too sure where we are next week, but hopefully it should be a cracker. So I've been Hoppers, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the JTCC at Bathurst, and we'll see what goes on there. It will be probably a weird situation because I will not be on track. I will be commentating for a one-off. So I'll see you guys next week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow if you are going to be part of the GTCC championship. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you.